Hey all! So as you can see, I've left it pretty late tonight. I had a really busy day at work and I just couldn't get away. So thought, screw it, I'm going to get myself out now. I'm going to be quick because I'm not too far away from a road and I must look like a nutcase just in the middle of a field with a light on recording. So anyway, I have got hammock content tonight. It's going to get down in minus, I think it's like -3 degrees centigrade, that is, in the UK. So it's going to be a chilly one. It's going to be an interesting one as well because I've got to try and collect firewood. I've got to set up a hammock hot tent that I've never set up before in the dark, and I've got to find some trees and a suitable place to put it. So this is likely to go seriously wrong, but screw it, I'm going to do it anyway. And then I've got myself a steak and stuff to cook on it later, and I've also got a little blank to carve. So and I decided, my wife's getting mental at me at the moment because I've got like pots of spoons everywhere. So what I'm going to do is from now on, any spoons that I carve, somewhere in the video, I'll put a word and I'll throw that in the comments. And if you throw that word down there, I'll do a draw of some kind, and or the best comment. I'll tell you what to put, but I'm going to give the spoon away. So if you want a free spoon that's been carved by me, I doubt you do, we're going to get no comments. But if we do, I'll give them away and you can have them. So anyway, I'm going to have to hurry up because it's seriously dark. And yeah, I've got a lot to do. So I've got the stove, I've got everything else in my backpack. I've got one beer tonight. Let's get on with it. It's funny. This I'm sure this bit is what people talk about. People are always saying to me, I'm sure all of you wild campers out there will get this. People going, are you mental? Sleeping in the woods by yourself? I would never do that. And it's probably situations like this that they kind of imagine. It's very strange how once you do it a few times, you become quite comfortable with it quite quickly. I've seen some weird things in the woods as well. A friend of mine was telling me the other day that he went into the woods. I won't mention him. He went into the woods quite late at night with his girlfriend wife with a new head torch to test it out, and stumbled across a youngish guy in his kind of probably young, early 20s, mid 20s, wearing just some stockings and lingerie, which I've come across some weird things in my time. That's not one of them. It's absolutely huge. You're obviously not going to be able to see it, but I will show you around in the morning so you can have a closer look. But it's absolutely monstrous in here, which is kind of interesting. It was a pain to put up, I will say that. It was an absolute nightmare. Lesson learnt. Make sure that the main rectangle base is taut first, and then it kind of goes up all right. But I won't bother you with that now. I'll put that at the end. If people want to look at it, they can watch through to the end. I'm gonna now get the stove set up in the corner. That was the worst bit, trying to get the corners tight enough that it wasn't going to flap around and stuff. So yeah, I'm going to do that now. Get my hammock up in here. That took way longer than expected. So it's yeah, it's already late though. Oh god, yeah, it's getting on. Right, I'm gonna crack on with this. Well, that's it. That's the trying to fall over and stack it. That's the last of the firewood in. That's all done. This thing's been a pain to set up, if I'm honest. I think I'd only use it in, it'd have to be pretty cold. It'd have to be pretty cold. I mean, it's below 0 degrees Celsius tonight, and to be fair, I'm pretty warm. This thing's a beauty. This is a swan dry, by the way. I look like some kind of goblin, but it's very warm. Yeah, and if I'm honest, I don't think I like being fully enclosed. I think I like having the side open. So it's a nice, yeah, I don't know. The jury's out. We'll come back to that in the morning. Brewdog again. It's just so easy to get hold of in the UK. Elvis juice this evening. Just got one beer. The fire is going and it's warming up in here now. I let it burn off for a little bit because I haven't used it in a little while. So lovely. I'm going to crack this open. I'm going to sit. Cheers everyone. Ching ching to you. My friends take the mickey out of me because I always say how much of an ethical company these are. They are, by the way. But enough of that. So it's supposed to get down to like -3 tonight. It is mighty cold out there. If you go out, but you can't see my breath anymore. So it shows how much it's warmed up in here. Made quite a difference. The fire's going lovely. I'm gonna do a bit of carving now, I think. I'll show you around this properly in the morning. Obviously it's pitch black. You wouldn't see very much. I'll take you for a little wander around. I'll show you how it's set up. It's the Onetigris. Rocdomus, it's called, R-O-C-D Domus, D-O-M-U-S, I believe it's spelt, and it's massive is what I would say. I mentioned it earlier. So I've got my hammock lying in the middle. There is easily enough room for a person down here in front of me, without any doubt, and they'd have enough room around them. That's probably a 2-man tent there, and then I haven't even looked on the other side, but yeah, I assume when this is hanging centrally there would be enough room on that side as well for somebody. So yeah, in that respect I rate it already. The amount of room in here, I could have one of my mates come in here, maybe even 2, although they probably wouldn't with my snoring, but it is an option. Even my kids could come along with me. That would be amazing. They'd love that. A little camp in this thing. So, you know, great in that respect. It's not light. I'll have to check the weight and I'll put that in here somewhere for people to have a look at. Right, enough waffle for me. I'm gonna chill out, probably do a little bit of carving for 20 minutes or so. I made a little blank at home, so that's already done, and I'll carve that up. And then, like I said, I will give that away. I will give that away to somebody if they want it. I'll sort out the postage and send it to you. Yeah, just put a little comment below saying Kev loves an ethical company. It's another one of my little Easter eggs that I tend to put in my videos. And with a little comment from yourself, whatever you want it to be, add a little comment, you know, something stupid, whatever, and I will, at random, oh, it can't be at random, I will select one that I think is funny or clever or whatever it may be. So throw that in there and get yourself a free spoon. So right, I'm gonna chill for a bit and I'm gonna stop waffling. Catch amazing. Steak's lovely as well. Yummy. The broccoli was on there for about half an hour. And it's still al dente. So I'm gonna polish this off before I stuff that in my mouth. I'm gonna enjoy this. And there's not gonna be much more now. I was gonna keep it short and keeping the evening short, because in the morning I'm going to get up and show you around the setup and show you this hammock hot tent, because it's pretty reasonably priced, you know, for anybody who fancies it. So I'll show you around. Right then, so I've done my carving. It's about 9:30 at night, I think now. I've carved the spoon, but I don't know what I was thinking as I carved it. I really don't know. I managed to crack it. It's not right across the centre. Should be able to see it there if I put it next to me. I've cracked it. I don't know what I was thinking. I carved the handle so fine. There's just no meat on it at all, so it's obviously going to break, which is quite annoying. I actually did it about halfway through, but I just carried on. It's useless. It's firewood, basically. It's fancy firewood, but yeah, you can see it's far too narrow on the neck. So, oh well, it hasn't happened in a while. Haven't managed to break a spoon or damage it or do something to it, but yeah, that one has. So if somebody wants it, you're welcome to it, but I'll have to do another one. I've got some more of this wood at home, so what I'll do is I'll carve another one exactly the same. Situation still stands. Best comment down below. Comment if you want the rubbish one as well. Morning all. Well, it is very cold this morning. God, it was a chilly night actually. Don't know what I did last night, but I think the first time in years I didn't fit that under blanket properly somehow, and well, it took me a good 20 minutes when I got in to sort it out. There's a bit of a breeze in there. I was fine all night, I was warm, but then this morning I've noticed it's not as warm as it normally is, so I don't think I fitted it correctly, but there we go. I'm going to get the inside of this squared away this morning while my coffee is on, and then what I'll do is by that time the sun should be up enough outside. It's still pretty dark out there, that I can show you around, and you can have a little look around it, see what you think. I've opened up the doors on both ends. The fire is over there, the stove is over there in the back corner, but I'll give you an idea of how wide it is. So I'm just touching each side, about the 1/3 from the floor up, and then it continues to slope out from that point. So I think at a push you could probably sleep, you know, widthways. Be a bit tight, you'd want to be fairly short, but certainly a lot of women could, I think, up to about sort of 5, 6 you could probably do it. And then down on this side, the stove's at that far end, you could definitely have a person sleeping here on the floor without any problems. And then also potentially on the other side, mine's a warbonnet blackbird, so it's got this kind of gear shelf on one side, which kind of makes this side less usable, but most hammocks you'd be able to have a person down on this side as well, so potentially you could have 2 people in here on the floor, and a third person sleeping in a hammock if you wanted to. If you didn't have the hammock, you could definitely have a third person down the middle. This is definitely wider than most 3-man tents. So it's very spacious inside. Yes, all of the doors tie back, so you can open it up if you want to, and then they'll close up at both ends. So pros, it's massive size wise. I guess for the size of it, it's pretty lightweight as well. I'd probably say, negatives I guess are it's weight as well for me. Personally, I wouldn't like to carry this kind of weight around. If you're living somewhere where you had a truck that you could take it, or potentially you had a like a sled and it was snowy, then definitely it would be worthwhile. Even in this country, if we were to get snow, I'd probably be more tempted. But it got pretty cold last night. It was certainly in the minus figures, and I don't think I would bring it again. In all honesty, there's a couple of faults with it that I found already. It's missing a couple of guy out points. There's one missing from there. There's one missing from the other end, and one of the stove jacks has not been cut out. It's been stitched in, but it's not been cut out. So it's useless if you wanted to use that. So if you came out and not realised, it'd be a real pain. This is fairly flat ground. I think if you're in woodland, you can't expect too much. And it was a bit of a faff last night trying to get it set up. It could have just been that it's the first time. Wouldn't surprise me. Second time around it might have been better. But yeah, I don't think I don't know, the jury's out. I think probably not, but it will definitely be for a lot of people. It's massive inside. It would definitely be good in the cold. I've probably just got unlucky with this one, because generally I think Onetigris products are good. From what I've heard, I don't own any. Do I own any? No, I've got their chair, but I've seen a bunch of reviews about them, and they always seem to be pretty good. So I've got unlucky. I think most people, I think you could discount the kind of faults. I've obviously got a Friday afternoon tent. Someone wanted to get home. Otherwise, it's good. So yeah, a lot of positives to say for it, to be honest. Right, I'm gonna get squared away, and I'll show you around the outside a bit. So this is the outer. You can see it's got kind of a 1/3 point pegging point or guy out point, which makes it even bigger inside. The only downside with this is you've got ropes going everywhere. in all honesty, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 along each side, so the 2 corners and 3 center ones, and then the same at this kind of mid-level to guy it out. I guyed out just the middle one and then the corners, so I've got 6 of the midpoint guyed out, and then I did the same. I pegged out 6 points, and that gave me enough room inside. It was kind of taut enough. It was taut enough for what I needed last night. I mean, in all honesty, if it was windy, there's a lot of material there that's probably going to flap around all over the place. But if you took the time, it comes with enough guy out points. Does it come with enough pegs? Yeah, I think it probably does. Yeah. Yeah, there's enough pegs, there's enough guy out points. If you brought these down to the floor, along both sides, and then pegged it, you're just going to have a perimeter around it that you won't want to walk in, but it would do the job, and it would make it very usable inside, is what I would say. It would make it extremely usable, because you would have a kind of a rectangle up to about here, on the inside where this point is, where it's very square, almost flat sides, so it would be yeah, quite nice to use. What else is there to say? Yeah, so it's got zips at both ends, so you know, you can open and close the doors as you want to. It's got 2 sets of zips on either ends, so it's got the main door zips, and then at the top it's got a set of zips together that are attached together, so if you move the bottom one, the top one goes with it. And the idea is you can make a small opening about 1 inch or 2 wide, and that allows your suspension system, this finger movement's not good, is it? I've just realised. It allows your it allows your suspension system of your hammock to go through it. But then if you're not using a hammock, you can just close that up, and you could just use this as a, it doesn't have to be a hammock, you could use this as a ground dwelling tent as well, for sure. Yeah, right, quickly show you around the other side. Yeah, so this is the corner with the stove in, obviously. Now there should be a stove jack right here. I can see it on the inside. There's also some stitching, but it's not been fitted, so that's missing. As I say, you've got the stove jack up here, which is the main one that I used last night. Yeah, no complaints, nothing really to report there, if I'm honest. And then down this side is a repeat of the other side, really. So you've got these mid-level guying points, which will make it, as I say, much bigger, and then the bottom level, and then on either end, as I say, you've got the doors which peg out to the center, so where the center zip is, so you can open one and you could tie one back if you wanted to. Yeah, they've got some nice kind of quick release. The tie out points, rather than just being 2 pieces of material that you tie together, or a little toggle in a piece of elastic, they're actually a little pull on a tie out point. So you just thread one through the other and then pull it tight. I'll show you an up close of that at some point. Yeah, so what do I give it? I'm going to give it a score out of 10. That's pretty old school, isn't it? Do people do that anymore? I'm going to give it a score out of 10. I'm going to give it, there's a lot of positives. Size, weight, really, for the size of it is good. I'm going to give it a, I think without the faults, if I take the faults away, because I've just got unlucky there, and to be fair, these days you get a faulty one, you just send it back and they'll send you a new one. You put that up, make sure it's fine, make sure you're happy with the one you got. I'm going to give it a 7.4. I don't know why I'm giving it a 7. Yeah, I'm going to give it a 7.4 out of 10. I think weight, size are all good. I think, to be fair, it's massive inside. It's absolutely huge, so it'd be great to use. You know, if it was really dark and snowy and all that, you've got a ton of room in there to use. So they're all massive positives. I think the downsides are the flappiness of it, but with a little bit of work and planning, you could get around that. You could work with that. If it was snowy and you had conditions where you're using a sled or a a truck to take it into where you wanted to, you know, the size and that's not going to bother you, and the size inside, I should say, the size and weight's not going to bother you, but the size inside is going to be a massive benefit. So yeah, 7.5. Can't 4 even, I can't do the point, so it's a 7. Right, I've got to get packed away. Right, so that's it. That is me done. The tent is gone. That was interesting. Those monk jack just ran, I think there's like 3 or 4 of them, just ran into camp. Obviously startled by me. and then kind of all went in all directions. One of them stayed really close, and I was trying to sneak my phone out of my pocket so I could try and get a video of it. And then one of them started barking, and of course, like, when they all started scattering again. But they ran off, and I thought they'd all gone. But then, 20 seconds later, I looked up and realised there was still one there looking at me, fairly close. They're odd things, aren't they? But yeah, I'm out of here now. So thank you to everybody for watching. Remember to throw your comment down below if you want the spoon. If you want, you can have the broken one as well, but I will recarve one for somebody. It'll probably be on my next camp, and I'll send that out. It's UK only, unfortunately. For now, I may look at seeing if there's some way that I can do it for you people around the world. But thank you again for watching. Take care of yourselves, and look forward to seeing you on the next one. Cheers, guys.